The big three of fast food burgers are McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's. But below that top tier, a number of also-rans have still held their own, like Jack in the Box. With its frightening toy clown in a suit mascot and famous Jumbo Jack burger, it had all the makings of a fast food champion. But lately, it's looking like the weasel might soon go pop for the company. Today, we look at the twisted coil that is the Jack in the Box story, and how it may soon unwind. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel. After that, please leave a comment and let us know what other failing fast food places you would like to hear about. Hope you're ready to think outside the box, because here we go. The roots of Jack in the Box go all the way back to 1940 San Diego. Robert O. Peterson, proprietor of several successful area restaurants, opened Topsy's Drive-In, which, like a wet gremlin, quickly became several Topsy's Drive-Ins. The locations had a light circus theme, featuring the no doubt terrifying drawings of a starry-eyed clown. In 1947, Peterson obtained the rights for an intercom ordering concept from the owner of an Alaskan restaurant named Chatterbox. Soon, the loquacious eatery and burger clown concepts merged into what we now know as Jack in the Box. Focusing on drive-through service, the restaurant became the first major chain to use a two-way intercom system, with the garbled, hard-to-understand communiques becoming a core tenet and tired joke of the fast food experience. In keeping with the already frightening theme, the drive-through featured a giant clown projected from the roof, a smaller clown head on top of the intercom, and a sign that read, "Pull forward, Jack will speak to you." Despite the constant threats of Harlequin homicide, quick service quickly made Jack in the Box very popular. By the end of the 1960s, Jack in the Box had expanded to 200 locations across California and the Southwest, and was soon purchased by the Ralston Purina Company, best known as the makers of dog food. Sometimes the jokes just write themselves. At this time, the restaurant had staked its claim to yet another fast food staple, breakfast. A full 2 years before the McMuffin materialized, Jack experimented with two breakfast items: the Breakfast Jack, a ham, egg, and cheese sandwich on a hamburger bun, and one inspired by Eggs Benedict, because there's nothing easier to eat while driving than a meal that's mostly sauce. The two items sold well, so in 1976, Jack in the Box expanded its breakfast menu to include omelets. By the 21st century, the chain's best-selling menu section was breakfast, which it still sells all day long, unlike the competition, thus cornering the market on late afternoon hangover remedies. Throughout the 1970s, Jack expanded east, though the rapid growth began to backfire, as shortly after opening their 1,000th restaurant in 1980, the chain announced plans to close more than 20% of its stores, all in the East. That there is Donut Town, Burger Clown, and they don't take kindly to strangers around those parts. With the sudden contraction, Jack entered the new and modern decade with a new and modern approach, literally blowing up its image. A series of television commercials in which employees used dynamite to explode the clown head speaker they were famous for sent the fast food Pennywise back to its proverbial sewer. The company also changed its decor and jettisoned the clown iconography for pastels and hanging plants, a style so 80s you'd think Huey Lewis himself commissioned it. With its new image in place, Jack decided it would no longer try to compete with McDonald's for the kids and family crowd, and instead go after a demographic only the 1980s could create, the yuppie. Like Jack's mascot, the menu changed to accommodate the Patrick Bateman clones as well, offering a ham and cheese sandwich, steak fajita pita, and yet another fast food innovation, the to-go salad, because there's nothing easier to eat while driving than a meal that's half sauce and requires a fork. By 1987, the menu had expanded to include 40 items, half of which had been added in the previous 5 years, but the menu expansion had yet to reach its final form. One of the earliest in a long string of controversies for Jack in the Box was a little bit of a meat mix-up. Jack contracted with an Australian beef supplier named ProFreeze, and since imported beef made up about 7% of the beef supply in the US at the time, it wasn't unusual to ship it from all over the globe. In the summer of 1981, with Crocodile Dundee still 5 years away, some Americans were introduced to a different Australian icon, kangaroo. The blunder from down under started when a food inspector noticed that a few blocks of frozen Australian beef were darker and stringier than beef should be. Yeah, that might make you a vegetarian. Testing revealed that they were made up of horse meat, not beef. Upon further inspection, food regulators found other meat Jack had received contained kangaroo, not exactly a shrimp on the Barbie. It's impossible to know for sure, but according to the Secretary of Agriculture at the time, it's very likely that Jack in the Box unwittingly expanded their menu past just beef and chicken. The smack in the box didn't stop there. In January 1993, the Washington State Department of Health noticed a sudden uptick in cases of hemolytic uremic syndrome, or HUS, in Seattle children, with grunge rock definitively ruled out as the cause. Investigators found that patients got the disease after consuming Jack in the Box hamburgers that contained E. coli. While the company initially had no response and tried to place blame on their meat supplier, health inspectors traced the contamination to a promotion for Jack's unfortunately named Monster Burger. The popular promotion caused restaurants to cook the beef for shorter times, and therefore to lower temperatures, in order to keep up with demand. All told, 732 people across 4 states became infected, while 4 children lost their lives. In the months that followed the outbreak, Jack's sales dropped by 35%. Hundreds of employees were laid off, new store openings were canceled, and the company halted all advertising in Washington state in an attempt to make up for the losses. After these scandals, Jack knew it needed a change in leadership, so it brought in the man who knew the company best, Jack. In 1994, the company started a wildly successful marketing campaign that brought back the eponymous clown, this time as a fictional CEO. A human in a business suit from the neck down, a ping-pong ball monster from the neck up, complete with clown hat, soulless eyes, and a red line for a mouth. That changed with Jack's emotional state. The campaign began with a callback to the company's famous dynamiting stunt of the 80s, with Jack reclaiming his position as head of the company by blowing up the chain's fictional HQ, and the tagline, Jack's Back. With its off-kilter dark humor in pursuit of a younger male demographic, the ads were an instant success, as the chain took in $1 billion in revenue in 1995, and grew to nearly $3 billion in a little over a decade. The ship righted, the chain attempted yet another pivot that unfortunately ended in disaster. In the mid-2000s, the company converted a handful of pre-existing restaurants into a new concept called JBX Grill. Once again, in pursuit of the mythical rich people who eat fast food demographic, the test market JBX Grills offered higher-end offerings, such as carne asada ciabatta sandwiches, Greek-style chicken, and Thai chicken salads, all in a fancy space with wood floors, overstuffed chairs, and fireplaces. While Jack might have tried to lure in a new kind of deeper-pocketed customer, their core patrons were not into it. And since giving existing stores a JBX glow-up cost upwards of $400,000, the company quickly reverted the beautiful swans back to their ugly duckling roots. Jack's quest for worldwide fast food domination continued throughout the decade, as the company purchased fast casual Mexican chain Qdoba in 2003 when it had only 85 locations. Under Jack's watchful, unblinking eye, Qdoba grew into a major national brand, with more than 700 restaurants. Though seen as the fast casual Mexican David to Chipotle's fast casual Mexican Goliath, the smaller chain could not take down the Colossus, and Jack sold off its stake in 2017. Despite their own infamous tacos already on the menu, Jack remained undeterred and once again sought a Mexican fast food companion in Del Taco in 2021. Nocturnal eaters rejoiced as the two champions of late-night eats joined forces to fight the dark legions of post-midnight hunger. However, much like putting Alien and Predator in the same movie, it sounded like a better idea than it actually turned out to be. So once again, Jack sold off its acquisitions in 2025 in an attempt to return to simplicity and focus on the core Jack in the Box brand. Or in layman's terms, they didn't make enough money. Despite Jack in the Box's 75-year history and ability to bounce back after high-profile scandals and failed ventures, the chain has never reached the top of the fast food mountain and is currently in danger of falling off of it completely. If you watched the Weird History Food video about the slow, sad death of Wendy's, then you already know that the downturn in the fast food industry has been well documented, with rising prices and confounding apps turning off customers. Jack in particular has been singled out as being unnecessarily expensive, especially with its reputation of low lower quality than the big three. Complaints of greasy patties, soggy buns, and excess mayo were surprisingly not listed as compliments, but rather reasons Jack came in last place in a recent list of fast food chains. Furthermore, Jack has a reputation of being a little bit of a sauce boss. Not in the best there is way, but rather the stingy, no bonuses this year way. According to both employees and customers, Jack is notoriously miserly when it comes to sauce packets. And it's not just an internet myth. Employees have said that there is an official policy when it comes to sauce. One free packet per order, 30 to 40 cents for each additional packet. Seems that Jack still thinks the affluent drive-thru diner is out there somewhere. In a time when lower-income earners are struggling, nickel and diming customers for a lot of nickels and dimes feels like a slap in the face. And then there's the actual food. In 2016, Jack abandoned the traditional sesame seed bun, a virtual requirement for a fast food burger. It was replaced by a new, smooth, split-top bun, creating a rift among loyal Jack fans. Customers rebelled against the change, even going so far as to launch a change.org petition to bring back the original bun, calling the new one a monstrosity, a term that carries weight given Jack's history with monster burgers. Unfortunately, Jack seems to have dug in his clown shoe heels, and the chain has yet to bring back the seeded buns. And here you thought online petitions actually had power. Another complaint customers have about Jack's menu items is the lack of them. Namely, there's no vegan or vegetarian burger options. Other chains have embraced the meatless burger, with Burger King offering an Impossible Whopper, and McDonald's selling their own McPlant. No, they haven't opened at Garden Center. That's the name of the sandwich. Jack, however, has eschewed meatless meals, a surprising decision given its colorful history with beef. And as late as 2024, it had no vegetarian entrees at all. The closest they come is the chicken teriyaki bowl, leaving it up to the customer to ask for no teriyaki chicken, reducing it to bowl. Yet another common gripe is Jack's constantly changing menu. Many customer favorites have just disappeared. For example, the grande sausage burrito and the diabolical chicken and tater melt, a sandwich consisting of crispy chicken, a hash brown patty, bacon, ranch dressing, and 3 kinds of cheese served on a croissant. Despite introducing the sandwich as part of its late-night munchie meals in 2013, perhaps the first time they accepted who their customer base really is, Jack dropped it 10 years later as part of a revamped munchie menu, prompting another change.org petition. Sure, it'll probably work this time. But wait, customers aren't done yet. Despite being what the chain is primarily known for, Jack's open 24/7 policy is, shall we say, a bit inconsistent. Fans have noted some stores close for planned employee break times, leaving only the drive-thru open. Others claim that they'll close arbitrarily for hours at a time overnight. While this seems to be based on location, if a starving vampire is craving a burger, they want to know where they can reliably get one. Unfortunately, prospects are not looking so good for Jack. In April of 2025, the company announced the closure of up to 200 stores, approximately 8 to 10% of its current count, as part of its Jack on Track plan. Pretty much the opposite of their 2024 prediction of opening 90 new stores per year by 2027. A downturn in sales and profits meant that Jack closed out 2025 with almost $1.7 billion in debt. And since mid-2024, sales have fallen nearly every quarter. That led to a free fall in stock price, which, despite being near $100 a share in 2023, fell 80% by the end of 2025. The sale of Del Taco, also part of Jack on Track, only contributed to that debt, as Jack bought it for $575 million in 2021 and sold it for $115 million in 2025. For all you non-business majors, that's bad. With a constantly evolving identity, a changing menu, escalating prices, and a declining quality in food offerings, Jack seems to be in real danger. Its reputation of being a jack of all foods, master of none, has left it in a precarious position. Customers know Jack has a little bit of everything, but isn't the best at anything. So after 75 years in the business, Jack still does not have the kind of brand-loyal fan base that places like McDonald's and Taco Bell do. Heck, it still can't even seem to get a foothold on both coasts. Yes, the chain is a fixture of West Coast fast food, but the East Coast has proven to be a challenge, as a planned expansion into Florida has yet to materialize into a single store in the Sunshine State. Still, the chain has proven resilient throughout the decades, so it may be only a matter of time before Jack drags out the dynamite and blows up its business yet again. So what do you think? Can Jack in the Box spring into action, or will the weasel go pop for good? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, check out some of these other videos from Weird History Food.